a 2 foot by 1 foot box, and it's portable. So we could take that anywhere we go. If we want to go to Learning Solutions and do a show right from there, we could. Right now, it's a little tricky taking all this equipment with us. So that's our goal before the end of the year, to get a TriCaster and start becoming a little more mobile and getting to these shows and just having some fun with that.
And we should say that we did hint a lot to Learning Solutions to allow us to do our show.
Down.
Well, yeah, we can have those conversations later, but there's a lot. Trust me when I say. So when I say,
you know how many handkerchiefs I had to give Terrence? He cried so long. It was just awful.
I'm a big fan of the Twit Network, and I actually have been wanting to do the whole podcasting thing for a long, long time, and I actually tried just as best I could. Something came out a few years ago that allowed you to do it very easily, and I didn't want to mess with all the technology stuff, but you really do have to commit to putting some effort into it.
There are easier solutions, but to try to get the better quality video, audio, you know, what do we invest in here? Probably about $6,000 just on this setup. Yeah, so you got to put a little bit of money, and actually more. If I look at the whole setup, we're probably under 10,000.
Yeah,
in the whole setup.
Which is great. So it kind of leads me to where I was going originally. Was this idea of this is becoming so relatively easy to do. It almost feels like at some point all corporations could set up like a learning channel.
They could.
And you could have content constantly streaming.
And some are starting to do this. It's still not as common, but yeah, you could. And that's, I know some companies who are specializing in providing these services to companies. And that's something we're probably going to consider in the near future, where we can offer that service as far as having, and then you just get more equipment. And that's really all it is. It's equipment. And then ideally having...
Well, there was so I started thinking about this when I saw some digital signage companies that were able to, and so they were selling a solution to like universities and stuff like that, airports, where you got monitors all over the place, and you've got one box and one central location, and somebody's pushing out content. They're changing the stuff that's streaming across the bottom. They're changing. There's different panels so they can throw up different advertising, and then there's the main screen, and they can throw up some content there, or a different feed, going into different sections. And I thought that that kind of stuff was really cool too. So
there's all sorts of stuff that's fun out there, and really, all you have to do is go to a good restaurant, find somebody who can talk on a microphone, teach them how to do some acting work on this, and you're good to go. You have a host, and it's not that difficult. Terrence?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you said something.
Yeah, I thought I heard something there too. Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think I'll have to go back and listen to it. Somebody said I looked stoned, so I'm going to have to figure out how to fix my...
Well, shame on you for not passing it this way.
Yeah, my eyes are all heavy. I'm going to have to try to fix something, but I'm just using the built-in camera, so I think that was my major flaw.
Yeah, but when we have some of our female guests, they definitely do the makeup thing and all that. So you're definitely more than welcome to the next time you come on. If you want to put on some makeup and some foundation, we'll be none the wiser.
No, I'm not too concerned about that.
That's what Terrence and I do every week.
It's more or less the angle of the camera, and because right now I'm moving the laptop, and that's the only adjustment I get. So, but my chair, I can't get my chair to go any lower, so if I move it down, so you probably noticed I was fidgeting around with it. I put a big book underneath my laptop to raise it up a little bit to maybe get a better angle on me, so it's not I don't know. But normally I do have a video camera hooked up too, so I'll have the nicer microphone plugged in.
What I recommend,
and I'll have my my D90 plugged right into it, and I just use that as the video feed, and it makes a great picture. And I can adjust that too, but I didn't get that done today.
What you could do, this would be a simple fix, is get some full spectrum LED lights or just full spectrum lights, and then you won't have the yellowish, because right now it looks like you have some sort of incandescent or fluorescent on you, and it makes it yellowish.
Yeah, it's just my room, so I've got the yellow, the regular yellow,
Right. So as a
ceiling
result,
fan light behind me,
yep.
and then I've got the big bay windows on the side
Right.
coming in.
And that gives you a little bit of the yellowish tinge.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't show you is this. You can probably see it. Let's see, where is it? My angle is funny. See that light up there?
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm using. Those are light panels.
Okay.
Now, that accounts for probably most of the expense in this thing. Those alone are probably about $700 just for the light panels. They're really expensive, but they provide really good full spectrum light. We've got 2 of those. They come in a kit for about $1,700.
And they're not hot. They don't
No, you can just touch it. I'm touching it right now. It's completely
make you
cold,
melt?
full LED. It's got probably over 100 LEDs on it, and they're specifically set so that the temperature is for video and or photography. And they do a great job. They fill in color. If you want. I've got a window open, but it's very hazy. Actually, haze is good because haze doesn't give you the glaring sunlight. So we've got a window open there, and then I've got the light panels just as fill. Ideally, if we wanted to do better lighting, we would probably set up our KinoFlows. We've got the full KinoFlow lighting. We don't
Okay.
use it here.
So when you say full spectrum, that means that no matter what color the other light source is, it matches it or
No,
fixes
the full
it?
spectrum is a light that is closer to sunlight. In other words, it's
Okay.
it's a very clean. I think it oscillates at about 14,000 hertz as far as light, whereas the average light bulbs really are way lower than that. So you get much more of a yellowish glow.
They're more expensive. I've bought
They are more
regular bulbs. They call them clear bulbs or something
Yes.
like that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but they usually have to say full spectrum. If they're full spectrum, then they'll give you a different kind of color.
Okay.
You won't get the yellows or really, you might get more of a bluish tinge or just a very natural tinge. They have different color temperatures. Otherwise, 3,200, 5,600, I think, are the different temperatures.
Yeah, yeah.
But they do a great job, and you can get them cheap too. There are full spectrum solutions or LED lights out there that are for video and photo for anywhere from about 40 to about a couple $100. We do video shooting, which is why we have the more expensive ones.
Yeah.
And that's just part of our kit, and we just use it here because they're convenient. But again, if you have the KinoFlow lights, those are the full spectrum lights. They're about 4 feet long, and they come in a group of 4, and you could set up 2 of those, and then you could actually have a green screen behind you and actually run. I could put any kind of background behind me if I did that.
Yeah.
Which is something you can do with Wirecast. You can also chroma key. So you can have a live dynamic chroma keying. So you could create all sorts of sets and environments, and do whatever you want. I just have a blank wall behind me, and what you see here on this side, you can probably see those are the 2 Skype machines right behind me.
Right. So yeah. So help me with that part again. So, I'm just connected to your Skype.
Yeah, you're on Skype, and you're on a Vio notebook right now, which is running a Skype session. Terrence is on a separate machine. He's on the iMac running a Skype session on that one. So, and then what I do is both of those, Wirecast has a very cool tool called Desktop Presenter. And what it does is it automatically sends the video feed from any device on a network into your computer and captures it. So
you don't have to have extra cables, extra outputs,
the
or
only
anything like
cables you
that.
need
It's
are
just
for
since
the
they're
audio.
on the same network,
Yeah,
it finds the feed.
Right. Yeah, exactly. As long as you have the IP address for it, that's how I'm getting your video in and Terrence's. You're both coming in through Desktop Presenter. And then the only thing I need extra cables for is on the audio out for both of these machines. They come into one of the inputs on the mixer as an audio in.
Okay, and then you're taking the out.
And then the out goes, we have an out that's going through a double cable that goes into the in of each of the microphones so that you hear me, and the mixer handles it through a separate bus. So the mixer has a different channel that lets us talk to each other this way, and it captures it. So
does the audio then have to be connected to the machine that's running the Wirecast also?
Yeah. No, it's connected to the mixer. And then the mixer connects into the machine that runs Wirecast. So from the mixer, I've got a FireWire input into the machine, and I'm capturing channels, I think 11 and 12, and that brings in all the mix of everything coming in from all the different sources.
Okay.
So yeah, my microphone is going right into the mixer, and then the mixer goes into the machine. So it's pretty straightforward. Everything is going through the mixer for audio.
Well, very cool. Very cool. How much does Wirecast run these days?
It's not bad. It's only about $400. Then they
Yeah,
have a pro version for about $1,000. It adds some extra features. I haven't had a need for those yet. It's things like virtual sets and all that, but it's a real good tool. But I still want to. One day, I think I want that TriCaster because it looks like you're a little more flexible with it. I think
Yeah.
software-wise, it's probably not much different.
And it's actually not that expensive either. I mean, relatively speaking, of
7,500
course.
to
I mean, it's like
10,000.
$5,000 or something.
Yeah, it's about 7,500, I think. I think if you want the HD version, it's a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
I think you can get up to about 10 grand on it, but that's probably the highest end. That's not bad. I mean, if you think about it, if you put it to use and you can market it and sell it, that's a pretty good thing. I mean, if you look at Leo Laporte, 3 years ago he had a couple of shows. He's got what,
Right.
20 shows now, and he's got a 15,000 square foot building.
Yeah.
Way to go, Leo!
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I mean, he's got sponsors that are paying him big bucks too. I mean, he's definitely doing all right. But
Yeah, we have Relate and Liquid Learn. That's our sponsors right now, and they're both deadbeats. They never pay us, so.
Not a penny. Not a penny.
well, so, yeah. Speaking of that, so Rick? What does your company do?
We develop e-learning.
Okay. Well, I knew that, but I mean, do you have a special focus or anything,
We're
or?
kind of generalists. We've developed e-learning in a whole mess of different arenas, vertical markets. We've leveraged a lot of our business background. Before we did e-learning, we used to implement ERP systems.
Okay.
So I was an IT guy for 20-something years.
Wow. Okay.
But as part of my IT function, several times I've been in charge of training departments. And so I had a training function and an IT function. And I liked training. Training was fun. And when multimedia became more popular, in 95, we became a training company. We've been in business since 84, but in 95, we completely dumped ERP implementations and really got into e-learning and haven't looked back. It's been 16 years now, and it's been a lot of fun. And we work with all the vendors like Adobe. We used to work with Macromedia, Allen Communications when they were around. I guess it's still around, but when they were doing the product sales.
Yeah.
Pathlore back when, AimTech, if you remember them. Those all the old guys throughout the years.
Any of them interested in doing this kind of stuff, this live production stuff?
I think I know Adobe does their Adobe TV channel, so I think they're doing something similar with Adobe TV. But yeah, it's something that I think people could be interested in, and it's definitely a lot of fun. Like, for example, if you guys want to do something at the Guild, hey, that could be a lot of fun. We'll definitely like to help you guys on that. It could be good for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to brainstorm, think about it, and let's just set up a conversation sometime and talk about doing it. I've been wanting to do something with streaming or just capturing some of the content that we have at our events for a long time, and it is there are a lot of issues around getting people to sign the right agreements that that it's okay to have them on camera. I mean, that's just one of this laundry list. So believe me, I've pitched David and Heidi on this a gazillion times, and
but it's not that hard to do, and it's
well, I know it's not hard to do, but there's so many other business aspects of it. From a technical standpoint, I totally get it.
Yep.
And I know we can pull it off, and it would be very cool. That's not the part that bothers me, or that is ever the roadblock that gets thrown up. It's quite honestly, it's an ROI thing.
Yep.
What's the business model?
Let's stay online, but let me just stop the live feed because we're still live. That way we don't go for more. We're already an hour and a half, so.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah. I thought we were just chatting.
We are, but then we kept live. So for all of you.
You just can't see each other when we switch over.
Yep. We will be able to hear, but we can't see each other. But for all of you still in the chat room, get back to work. It's been a long time. Thanks for showing up, and we will see you guys next